Hey guys, this is Stephanie from Blibber Blabber, and what I want to do today with this video is give you guys a comparison on the Amber Heard Johnny Depp issue. Basically, is Amber Heard lying? So most of you have made up your mind. I think I've kind of made up my mind, but in case you're still trying to figure it out, I think this is a really good thing to watch to try to, or to come to your conclusion. So first what we're going to do is we're going to watch just a small portion of her testimony. I just put together just some small clips of the most intense, I think, traumatic things that she says happened to her. And then we're going to listen to an audio after that. And the audio was recorded sometime after the events that she discussed in her testimony. And I'm going to let you hear them back to back and make a comparison. And I think it'll help you make a decision. So let's watch that testimony to start.
So stupid. Sorry. It was like a light bulb switch went off. And he starts screaming.
Remember, she's an actress.
I don't
pay
know
attention
if he
to her theatrical behavior.
Normally, I don't really recall, but I remember it sent me down to the ground. I remember by the time I picked myself off the floor, I stand up. He's got a bottle in his hand. He threw it at me. It missed, thankfully, but I kind of pulled myself back into the bar area. I don't know how much time passed, but at some point he had a broken bottle up against my face, neck area by my jawline, and he told me he'd carve up my face. I don't know at what point in the evening. I couldn't tell you what sequence-wise when that happened, but it was terrifying. It wasn't the first time he said that to me. He said that to me on the plane as well.
So it was terrifying. She was terrified.
And at some point, he's on top of me. No phone, but screaming the same thing. I fucking hate you. You ruined my fucking life. I'm on the countertop. He had me by the neck. And he felt like he was on top of me, and I'm looking at him in his eyes, and I don't see him anymore. I don't see him anymore. It wasn't him. It was black. I've never been so scared in my life.
She's never been so scared in her life.
I couldn't see him.
He was gone. His eyes were black.
And he was looking at me, and I was trying to get through to him. I was trying to say to him in some way that it was me. I was trying to get through to Johnny, and I couldn't see him. I couldn't see him at all. And my head was bashing against the back of the bar, and I couldn't breathe. And I remember trying to get up, and I was slipping on the glass. My feet were slipping, my arms were slipping on the countertop. And I remember just trying to get up so I could breathe, so I could tell him that he was really hurting me. I didn't think he knew what he was doing. I don't know how. Sorry.
Remember, she says that she has PTSD from all of this, so she's really laying it on thick right now.
I couldn't breathe. Please. I don't know. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get through to him. I couldn't get up. I couldn't get up. And I don't know how that ended. I don't know.
So she cuts scene too, I noticed. She tells you one very visual, terrible thing, and then she says, I don't know how it ended. Then the next thing I remember,
the next
new scene.
thing I remember.
See.
I was bent over backwards on the bar, meaning my chest was up. I was staring at the blue lights. And
That's another thing I don't...
My chest...
More than once she's explained being attacked
My
and
back
staring
was
at the lights. I don't know what that's about, but it's interesting.
And I thought he was punching me. I thought he was... I'm sorry.
Imagine if you're Johnny and you're listening to this and it's not true.
I felt this pressure. I felt this pressure. He held my pubic bone. And he thought he was punching me. I just saw his arm. I could feel his arm moving, and it looked like he was punching me. But I could just feel this pressure. It was like it kept hitting him. It didn't feel pain. It was just a pressure on my pubic bone, and I don't know. I don't remember what I said. I just remember being really still, not wanting to move. I remember looking around the room. I remember looking at all the broken bottles, broken glass. And I remember just not wanting to move because I didn't know if it was broken. I didn't know if the bottle that he had inside me was broken. I couldn't feel it. I couldn't feel it. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel anything. I didn't want it. I looked around and I saw so much broken glass that I didn't know if he would know. If he would know, I didn't know if he would know if it was broken or not, and I just remember thinking, please God, please, I hope it's not broken. I don't know how that ended. I don't know how I got off the countertop.
Now she's going to remember being someplace else.
I just remember it being in the bathroom. I remember retching. I remember the sound my voice was making. I remember I lost control of my bladder. I remember just retching. I remember there was blood on the floor. I got up at some point. I don't know how that night ended.
She doesn't know how that night ended. So, which later she goes on to tell us that she took sleeping pills and went to sleep, which is not what I would do if my attacker was still in the house, crazy, drunk, and high, and had just raped me with a bottle. But, you know, everybody does their own thing. Anyway, another thing that I noticed is she was slipping around on glass, bleeding, feet bleeding, and bleeding vaginally, all this horrible trauma, and she didn't go to the hospital, didn't call a doctor. The next morning, when Johnny's finger was severed and the doctor and nurse came, nothing was ever said about these injuries. So that's all pretty interesting. So now you can watch that and think, oh, she did a good job explaining that must have happened. But now I want to take you to an audio where her and Johnny are having a conversation, and this is after the events that she was just describing, that she seemed pretty broken up and traumatized by. And now this is a conversation they're having. Pay close attention to who sounds like the aggressor, who sounds like the violent one. Listen to this.
That's different.
Else at me.
That's different. That's one.
I'm not the one who throws pots and everything else at me.
It's irrelevant. It's a complete non sequitur. Just because I've thrown pots and pans does not mean that you come and knock on the door. Just because there are vases does not mean that you come and knock on the door.
Really, I should just let you throw.
I'm not saying that. You're saying that. You're putting words in my mouth and then making non sequiturs.
I'm giving you a situation.
No, you're trying to justify how you don't or do come to the door.
No,
based
I'm
on whether I throw pots and pans. It's irrelevant.
No, I'm justifying
pots and pans, throwing shit at you is irrelevant.
Seem to think that there's this cowardice in me that runs away and I don't fight for you.
And you're justifying that by saying I throw pots and pans? Okay, cool. Let's talk about everything you do, Rob.
I'm not the one who fucking did that. I didn't.
So that makes sense. That's clear. Yeah.
The only time I ever threw anything at you was when you fucking threw the cans at me in Australia.
Why are you trying to justify who throws things?
She didn't clarify that. You threw tons of bottles at me.
Because that is a fucking irrational and violent fucking maneuver. So a man would want to get out of that area so that he doesn't get so fucking angry that he actually does pop the fucking wife.
Better than fucking Travis.
You're just afraid that the truth will come out.
What truth?
That you lied.
What are you fucking talking about? I didn't fucking even have a fucking thing to lie about. What are you fucking talking about? Every fucking fight, there's a new thing that you've convinced yourself is a lie.
I said to you, Amber, tell Travis what you just did. Did you just fucking, did you punch me in the fucking jaw? Did you Did you? And you wouldn't say a fucking word. I don't know what you're talking about. Never fucking,
I see the
never
lie.
Fucking happened.
I see the lie. You really should run with this. In fact, maybe you and Travis can go and do a tell-all about what
scared of her.
You know, an investigative
study. Stop with the
study.
attitude, right? Stop with the attitude.
Sorry.
You're getting a whole bunch.
Whatever you think happened with Travis.
I hope the jury
can
find this audio.
I'm not going to.
You lied. You're an asshole.
You're fucking full of shit. What lie?
When?
What conversation did I have with Travis? Big investigative study you've done. I'm not sitting here fighting with you about the fight that we had last night.
After you fucking got physically violent with me, I texted Travis. I said, "Come up here," because I didn't want anything to happen.
I mean, yeah.
Come
and save me.
No, go ahead. Continue. You. Travis to the rescue.
No, that was the last one. You can go. You go. That was the last insult.
You called me a liar, and yet.
I watched you lie.
You called me a liar.
I watched you lie. I heard it. I was right there.
There's no what. You still haven't told me what lie it is. But yet every single fucking time,
How
does she know what lie he's talking about? I know what lie
I'm not fucking talking to nobody.
No,
fuck that. You go jerk him off. I don't care. I really could care less. It's you every single time. You latch onto some sort of thing. When I already told you, I don't know what you're fucking talking about. You don't even know what you're talking about. You still haven't even told me what it is. But run with it.
I have told you what it is.
No, you haven't.
I said to Travis, I said to you, hey, tell Travis what just happened.
You told me to do it. You told me to. You said, go do that.
I said, no, tell him what just happened.
And I lied.
And that you punched me in the fucking thing. And you
figured
in
it
the face.
out.
And you said, no, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about? And I watched you lie. And then I
didn't punch you, by the way. I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
Even a lot of fights have been around a long time.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
No, when you fucking have a closed fist.
Get punched.
She thought she was being punched over and over in her pubic bone.
I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you.
She doesn't say anything about it.
I was hitting you.
You can't
I don't know
deck
what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are your toes?
What am I supposed to do? Do this?
How are your toes?
I'm not sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are.
Oh,
that's the difference between me and you. You're a fucking baby.
Because you start physical fights?
You're such a baby!
Because
Grow the fuck up,
Because you start physical fights?
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did, so I had to get the fuck out of there.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You are admirable. Every single time. What's your excuse? when there's not a physical fight. But let's see, she said, you're still being admirable, right? Just by
her whole complaint is that he leaves. Not that he beats her ass. That he leaves and runs away from their fights. Which he leaves when he feels they're escalating.
Stop doing that. I'm not nitpicking. I don't mean to be focusing on something, but if it's a major thing to me, and it is a major...
If things get physical, we have to separate.
No,
we have to be apart from one another.
Who is the voice of reason here?
An hour or 10 hours or fucking a day. We must. There can be no physical violence.
There can be no physical violence.
I promise you that I'll be perfect. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. God, I fucking sometimes get so mad.
She gets so mad. She can't promise you won't get physical.
Do everything to change. You didn't even come home last night. I feel like I have nothing to hold on to. There's a semblance of marriage or commitment or stability. You know, if I can just get up and walk away and spend the night somewhere else.
You obviously can.
If your husband was the kind of person that was throwing bottles at you, hating you, choking you, threatening you with a bottle, raping you with a bottle, your biggest complaint wouldn't be that he leaves when the fights get bad.
You know why I left.
I do know why you left.
You'd want him to leave to make sure the fights don't get to that point.
Now, but I won't do the same thing. I mean, that will not do that. I will not fucking leave until some rational decision is made. If it's the end, it's the end. If it's fucking, if we can keep going, we'll keep going. But yeah, promise. I hope you can trust me.
I don't want any loopholes, it's okay to leave, it's acceptable to do this, or it's acceptable to say this about like splitting or breaking up or leaving. That's hard. We should fall asleep together every night. Ideally, never mad. I'd love to say you could promise that, but I don't know if it's possible. I'd love to strive for it.
Yeah, you weren't ready for that last night, for sure.
No, I fucked up last night. I'm really sorry. It's affecting not just me, it's affecting our marriage.
See, she wanted them to be together. He filed for divorce, or said he was going to file for divorce, and then she ran out and got the restraining order.
I'm not trying to rub your nose in it.
And filed.
I feel sometimes like you omit something, you acknowledge it'll be beautiful, and then you'll go back on it, kind of in your in the vocabulary after, and then I feel like, wait a second, is he taking it back? You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, but like I said before, man, there's not. I haven't cornered the market on that. You know, when you start the fucking yelling, there's, you know, it fucking gets crazy. You know, it gets fucking crazy. You know, and that makes me not feel for lack of a better word, safe within the relationship. You know, understanding.
All right, so there's more to both testimony and that audio, but those are the main parts that I wanted you to hear. So if you compare that, I think it's pretty clear who's the aggressor, who's violent, who's throwing shit, and who's trying to make peace and stop things from getting violent and get away from the violence. I think that was a big show on the stand, but you listen to all that yourself and you decide. I think it's clear, but see you next time.
Okay guys, that's all for now. If you like the video, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we drop new videos. Thanks for hanging out with us. See you on the next one.